Hello? I think it's working. Doesn't seem to be working. Everybody can hear me. We're going to have a short program. So if you want to find a chair or get comfortable, we can start now. The Reverend is in the house. So we'll get started. First of all, I think all of you know me, but I am Joan, better known as Frederick's wife. I just want to thank all of you for coming and helping Frederick to celebrate this all-important birthday. The birthday isn't actually until the 28th, but this was the perfect day to do it, and this is the perfect venue to do it. I want to give great thanks to Annette for once again sharing. She so graciously opens this up for us to use, and it is a beautiful, beautiful venue to use. So again, thank you all for coming. I want to point out a couple things that are going on that you may not have noticed. If you've not had a chance to see the cake over here, I want to call your attention to it. A friend of my daughter's makes these cakes. I wish I knew her name right now, but I don't. And we just told her that our theme is through the decades, and told her a little bit about what Frederick was doing during the different time spans, and she put together this really great cake. So take a chance to look at that. And then my son, Jeff, has put together a video of Frederick and his family through the years. So he's going to be showing that in a little bit so that we can all get a chance to look at that too. That's going to be fun. Few people other people that I want to thank. Certainly my children. Unfortunately, my daughter's dog is in emergency surgery right now. So she's not with us right now, but she has been vital in helping me to plan for this and helping to get the decorations and do all those kinds of things. So she was very helpful. And my two sons, Jeffrey and Scott, have just really been, without you guys, I could not have pulled this off. So thank you. The caterer isn't out here, but I do want to give a big thanks to the caterer. Her cards are on the table. She was simply wonderful to work with, a very easy style. I just trusted and knew that everything was going to work out perfectly. And so if you're going to be wanting to use a caterer, I highly recommend her. Let's see, who else? Well, a big thank you to Beth and Laura, Frederick's daughter and granddaughter, flew all the way from North Carolina. Thank you so much. It means so much to your father. And he didn't know that they were coming. I don't know how we kept this from him. But I wish you all could have seen his face when they walked in this morning. It was precious. I think we finally stunned him. So, yes, you just made this day perfect. There are a few other people that wanted to say a few things. Rev Kevin, let's start with you. I know you wanted to say a few things.
Oh, he doesn't know how to talk to a crowd.
Hello. Good evening. Now you made me all nervous. Boy, it takes Frederick to get us all together, right? So, Frederick, come up here. The man of the hour. Frederick. So you want to come on up here with me? Yeah. So, let's see, a few things I want to say. I'd like to say that I remember Frederick and Joan from Pacific Church, where a few of us went, and I was assistant minister. And I remember walking, I had mentioned or announced that we were starting a community here in Hillcrest. This was 18 years ago. 18 years ago, this August. And I remember we were in the church, the other church. I was walking down the aisle, and the two of them were sitting on the edge of the aisle. And they had me come over, and they leaned over. They said, "We are so excited about you starting a church, and we're coming with you." So that was very cool. That was like a really great affirmation, because they had spent their lives in church, right? They spent their lives in church, and for them to want to be a part of our gatherings was really important. So that's one thing I want to say that was really significant. The second thing is, oh my gosh, from day one, actually both of them, but it's Frederick's birthday sometimes. Frederick has volunteered from day one. And for those of you who may not be aware, what he does and has done for 17 plus years is he's gotten up early, come to the center, made coffee, used to make lunch for us, made sure we're all properly fed for 17 years. Isn't that amazing? Every morning. And we used to have 3 services, we used to have 3 gatherings, you know, we'd all get up very early and be there very early, and Frederick was always when you smell the coffee coming out from the community room. And so his level of commitment and service is always, for me, an inspiration. Is always, and we did give him a break for about a year. We had a young guy, early 20s, come in, but he couldn't keep up, so he left. Right, Richie. And Frederick came back, so we gave you a little bit of break. Yeah. So, you know, the inspiration that you give in terms of service, it is clear to all of us who know you how you value sacred service because of your deep love for God. And so let's acknowledge Frederick for that, right there. So, and I will just say this about Joan has also been in service all those years too on our board, our stewardship, and we gave you about a year break as well, and then we called you back. So, one final thing, two final things I'd like to say. One is, you know, it's interesting for those of us that are approaching your age. You are doing it so gracefully, and with such, it's inspiring. It's like, you know, it's like these days, how do you grow old but stay young, right? How do you get older but stay young? And Frederick is the role model for that for us. So thank you for that role model as well. So on behalf of our community, I wanted to give you this present that I did not wrap. If you know me, you know Tim wrapped it.
Would you like to open it?
Yeah, would you open it? Yeah, sorry.
That's why I have a wife. It's quite cute. I want to thank all of you for being here. This has been very humbling for me. I've shared with a number of you that I grew up with a family that doesn't do birthdays. And so for me to step into this experience and be present with it, it's a great healing experience for me. So I'm so grateful to have all of you here with me and to share this 80th cycle, which is, you know, 8 is manifestation.
Yeah, infinity.
Yep, so it's a good decade. I'm ready to run it.
I think here.
Oh, okay.
Keep a good hand on it.
Yeah.
More, get him.
Wow.
This way. It says, Universal Spirit Center presented to Frederick Fred Jackson in deep appreciation for the 18 years of service to Universal Spirit Center in honor of your 80th birthday. We love you. August 2018.
I'll give you a chance to talk a little bit more later if you want. Stay here.
I'm done. I'm done talking.
He's never done those. I was just going to open it up to see whether anyone else would like to say a few words. To Frederick, or I don't know. You'll probably have to come up and use.
So glad you're alive, Frederick. I thought it was a celebration of service and brought a candle. So I wanted to share my experience of Frederick in the kitchen. I thought Frederick was feeding people's stomach, but he was feeding our souls. I watched him perform Reiki on people, listen from a deep place of understanding and caring and love, and modeled for me that you can be in service, doing your job, and be present to people. That's been a challenge for me, so thank you for that, Frederick. Who's next? Come on. Good, another brave soul.
I just want to honor you, Frederick, I've taught over 150 people Reiki, and I think there are only 2 people who carried it on to continue to teach and do the work, and you're doing it so beautifully, healing and helping people come back to unconditional love. Thank you so much for inspiring, bringing all those angels. You bring angels everywhere, and you continue to bring the light and the love. Thank you for being brave to allow your light to shine so strongly.
Thank you.
Who else?
So I met Frederick about 10, 11 years ago. And I was actually a very broken human being. And without Frederick's guidance, I would never have grown and become the person I am. And he's my second father. He's the one I wish I had. He's always been there for me. And even though I have moved further away, he is still always in my heart, and we still talk. And he taught me Reiki, which was wonderful. And I love you, and I'm so glad that we got to do this journey. He always tells me that we were supposed to do this journey together, and I'm so grateful that we get to do this journey together. And he's the manifestation of he tells me my older masculine, and I love him very.
Thank you. Yeah. I can come down.
My name is Cecilia, or Ceci, and I was telling Bob, my partner, I came to Universal Spirit Center for the first time in 2009, but I felt so broken, and the love there was so positive and so strong, it was like almost too much for me. And so I went off and did a few other things and came back in about 2011, 12, and I was there for a few years. I live up in Orange County now, and I worked in the kitchen with Fred and was there early with him through both services, and then when there was 3 services, and I managed to get into to listen to the message, but a lot of my church was in the kitchen with Fred, and just his presence. What I can say is you helped me to learn how to really love myself and listen to myself, because there was only so far he could go, but just the way he loved taught me how to love here. So when I knew this was happening, I said, well, I've got to come down. So we made a day of it, actually a weekend. So I'm really glad to be here. And I shared with them that this is a special day as well because this would have been my mother's 97th birthday. So I love you very much.
Oh, take a breath. Are you stripping for us?
Voluntarily.
So, oh, Frederick, yes, you're just a blessing and a gift to so many of us. And for me, coming to Universal Spirit Center, there was always that warm heart in the kitchen and maybe peering in to the sanctuary to see how many people is he cooking for. And always for those of us that had any kind of different diet, he wanted to make sure we were nurtured. And someone said that, one of the first speakers, it's like, you're always nurturing our hearts and our souls and our minds and our emotional body, not just our stomachs. That food is made with love, and we can feel it when we take of it. Also, he's warm and funny and charming and oh so handsome. And he cares deeply about every single one of us. And then I would go and there's all these people mingling, but I would always feel really seen by you and heard by you and loved by you, and you would have some jewel of wisdom to feed me. So I'm so grateful for you.
Thank you.
Well, I joined the church the second year it started and met Frederick, and it was just a pleasure. He was always there saying hello to everyone. And after I did service as a practitioner, I stepped down and went back into the kitchen. And it was so much fun. It was so easier to, huge community center, and to navigate that and to say hello to all those hundreds of people. So I dove back into the kitchen, and there was Frederick, just serving, having a good time, just a loving soul, loving heart, a dear friend. I'm so glad that you're healthy and happy and moving through life so gracefully. Love you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Oh,
Oh, look who's here. Hey, Lee.
Hi.
Hi.
So I just wanted to make a mention about how close Frederick is to God. When we had 3 gatherings at the center, I was running around like a chicken with my head cut off like I often do, but this particular day was rather harrowing. And I just kind of beside myself, and I was looking around sort of in a panic, and there was Frederick, and he did a prayer for me. And just the demonstration of that prayer was so powerful. It's probably one of the first prayers ever prayed for me, where I felt the instantaneous demonstration of prayer. So that's because of your heart and your connection to God. I thank you for that so much.
Nice to see you. Okay, my name's Becky, and I came to Universal Spirit Center. It's really hard for me to talk in public. Even though I'm a social person, this part's hard for me to say what I feel in front of so many people, but family, yeah. That's what Frederick taught me, that we're all a big family, and that I wasn't alone. He helped to remind me to anchor in, to ground myself, to be true to myself, and to know who I am. He would just say, Becky, you're trying too hard. Just relax and remember who you are. Remember where you come from. Remember that we're all here together. So I want to thank you for that. You've been my mentor, and my friend, and I'm a Reiki master because of you. And I touch so many other people because of what you've passed to me, and I'm truly, truly grateful for our friendship. And for this center and all these people that I know and love.
We ended up having breakfast together by pure chance. He's not just a pretty face with lots of love in the kitchen. And I was just thinking back to a few years ago, maybe somebody already mentioned this, of the amazing book study group we did when there used to be not so many older people in the center. Not too many whiteheads. Well, there are a lot more now. But for about a year and a half, a group of us, including Frederick and Joan and Sarah and Ben, Ben and some other people, met and worked through the book called From Aging to Saging. So I think you got the prize here. Still here, but we shared, he shared so many pearls of wisdom from the perspective of his life and shared so openly with all of us. And that was my chance to get to know you. And it just took us to another place. And I really appreciate your friendship in my life. It's made a big difference. Happy birthday.
One more?
Hello.
Hello.
I'm Julia, and I knew I had to say something here because I've been coming to Universal Spirit Center off and on. I say that because it hasn't been consistent, and that's one of the things I was going to mention is for like 9 years now, since 2009. But I've had trouble waking up early enough to get to the 10 o'clock service, and I haven't been going as often to make many friends, close friends. So I can't blame anybody for that except myself, right? And just because of my inconsistency. But Frederick, I really, really am thankful for because he's been a really good friend, and I felt an instant connection, like maybe from past lives, probably, as most of us are, I think, in some way. But he's really been a friend to me this whole time, and we've gotten together and shared, and I felt like I could really open up to him. And he's just got, as everyone knows, a very loving heart and wisdom, good combination. And so I really, really just wanted to say how thankful I am for you and your friendship to me. Yeah, you've been like one of my really good friends.
Okay, maybe we should let you say a few words.
I am saying a few words. I'm really surprised that I'm 80. And that I'm 80 and feeling really good. I've got bionic hips and those kind of mechanical changes, but the one thing that I do honestly give power to, which is my alignment with the source. I have been doing church since I was 7. I started preaching when I was 14 or 15. And they were cranking me up and putting me in the pulpit, and I'd spill out the Bible. But at all of that, including the experience of Christ in my life, I stayed with the understanding that there's some power greater than me that is running this store. It's always present for each and every one of us. And I firmly believe that, and I know it's the truth as we stand in it in ourselves and say, we are one family. And that's very powerful for me. And I see it today as I've seen it years ago, that as we gather in this moment together, there is something that is happening that's on the divine level that brings us into this moment of love. And I offer you the gift of taking that love with you and hold it in your heart, as you have given me so much love today by your presence. So I celebrate this day with you, and because of you, and because I know this moment was created by what we all know is that source, whatever you call it, God, Spirit, Mother, Father, God, whatever. It doesn't make any difference because God doesn't have any name at all. You know, it's just His. So I'm blessed at your presence. I'm blessed that all of you are moving through this life with great joy and high stepping and saying, thank you, God, next. So thank you all for being here. And I thank my wife for doing this.
Yes, you may.
Yes, you're allowed to.
Okay, we're going to begin to wind up. I need to